Hey Sagittarius, it's Empress Rose here, and we're going to do our reading. These are general readings, so take what works, leave what doesn't. Check your Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs for other readings, for other storylines or wavelengths that I may not catch in this reading if this is your Sun sign. So let's see. We're going to start with the Oracle Mystical Moments deck. We are grateful for the accurate reading we are about to receive. Anything else? Okay. Okay. All right. You have 5 cards, so this is going to be a long reading. Oh, very cool. A bunch of my faves here. We have some... Okay. There's a lot of looking back at the past here, and then we transition to looking towards the future, and we're ready to share. But we have several cards in deep silence here. We have the lullaby card. This is not using your intellect, not using the obvious things in front of us, but closing our eyes and just feeling our way through. It's called lullaby, but he's not playing music. He's just feeling the vibration of his instrument. He's just feeling this watery feeling down here and going by intuition. And he's very in touch with that intuition. His legs are wrapped around that intuition. It's very close to him, and he's very much in touch with it. In fact, he's so much listening to this sound of his own intuition and his own feelings here that that he's put his bow down and he's no longer even playing. He's just listening to this the music of the spheres. I want to say the music within. And then we also, to reiterate that point, we have listen. So we have this deep listening. We're growing through the listening. We're getting in touch. This is listening so that we can reemerge, you know, phoenix-like from this sort of grave here where we've been buried. But this is a deep listening also, and we're going to be growing from this listening and re-emerging. So this is a period of time that we're going more in depth, and then we're going to be re-emerging, knowing more, understanding more, having heard sort of the messages that the earth wants to give us, and these messages of growth and yeah, our minds are really going to grow here in this sort of quasi grave here where we're deeply listening to everything the earth has to say, and we're growing. We're growing and being nurtured by that listening. Then we have the red garden. So she's looking back to the past. She has a message here. She's not sending it. It's not going anywhere. But she's received some sort of message. She's grown. She's grown in this. She's blossomed in this really obvious way, big obvious way. But then she's also blossomed, and there's also a sexual component to this one as well. So I don't know. That can't possibly be for every Sagittarius watching this, but she's also grown in a more private way, sexual or not sexual, but in a more private way that's a lot quieter and isn't on display. So we have this bloom that we've displayed as, but she is looking to the past with some rose-colored glasses, possibly. But this does have to do with like a public blooming, and then also something private going on, a private blooming going on. And then we have these two with something in their hands. So we've got this one, Tiny Triumphs, is again, especially because we're in this intuition from this lullaby card, we're talking about intellect taking a back seat, and suddenly intuition coming out in this very bold way, in a very bold, brave way, to take over and make some of the decisions. This might have to do with your home. This might have to do with where you're at home, what you feel at home in. You might be feeling more at home with your intuition, but you've spent so much time with it now that you may be much more at home. Or if you you will be spending enough time with it, that you're going to get very comfortable with it, and you're going to get used to it, even though it's coming out in this bold way, attention-grabbing way. But it's kind of saying, look who's in charge now. You thought you were so smart. You made a bunch of smart decisions that made a lot of sense. But now I'm typically a terrified little field mouse, but now I'm coming out in a big way, and I'm going to be telling you how, you know, what's what. And so the tiny thing is triumphing now. The little small little voice inside you that has maybe lived in fear is now coming out and triumphing. We also have my home is my castle. So we have this whole richness back here, this rich interior life that you've definitely been developing here and here. So yeah, these are all developing your intuition, a deep listening to the earth, and developing something bold, but also developing something a little private and quieter, like intuition. And then you're getting ready to share this with the world. You have this rich world back here, and you're getting ready to share a bit of it from a full cup here. You have a fullness here, and you're starting to think about, what would it be like to talk about this? What would it be like to share this? I feel refilled, refueled. My intuition is on, and I'm thinking about bringing that out into the world and showing people a little bit about what's inside of me now, which also has to do with this, you know, quieter thing that you've been growing inside of you. And now you're willing to take it for a test drive to see if a test run here, not a drive, that has a different connotation, but a test run here to see how it's going to be received. And it's about communication, and it's about your ideas. Okay, then we're going to move to Moonology here. We actually really needed only 2 of those cards because the rest are all kind of interrelated, slightly different messages, but all talking about intuition. All right, okay. All right, Moonology, what did we draw here? Waning moon, what do you need to release? So yeah, we're letting go of something. In order to complete the cycle, we need to let go of something. That might be something from our past. That might be some harsh judgments that seem logical and fair and smart. We might need to release that. I'm not an advocate of being stupid in service of our intuition, but I am an advocate in understanding that our intellect does have limitations. And so releasing something, you have to let something go. And this is where we were looking at this, looking at the past. We have a couple characters looking back at the past here. And we have 2 looking in the present, and then 1 looking to the future. So there's something back there that you're going to need to want to release. It's going to feel good to release it and to let go of something, maybe letting go of an expectation, or letting go of a specific idea that looks very smart, that is very smart on the surface, but maybe might not be in your highest good. So the thing about what do you need to release, we all kind of need to release something. And we need to, when I get that card, I think more about like, what would I like to release and what do I want to move towards? But you can't shove yourself towards something like that, because then it's just a violence against yourself. It's like, you're not good enough as you are. And the only way you're going to be good enough and acceptable is if you release this thing. Like, you know, so it's got to be like, this is what I would like. This is what I'd like to do, and then setting an intention, and then letting things come in that help you do that in a very natural way. But this isn't like I always imagine like somebody's like, you know, when a dog has the ball and they're like, drop it. That's how I feel when people are like, you need to let it go. I feel like they're like yelling at me to drop it. And it's like, this is a process. This is an emotion, not a ball. I'm a person, not a dog. Okay, so yeah, I got to release something. So just be thinking about it and looking for openings to let something go that maybe you've been clinging on to and a bit too much. But just looking for openings, very gently looking for openings. We're not yelling at you to drop it, release it. because you're not a dog. You're a person, and our feelings run very deep. It's not a game. I mean, it's a bit of a game, but it's not a game. All right, we're going to move to ethereal visions. So Sagittarius, this is your past, your present, your inner landscape. What's at issue? Your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. Well, no wonder you want to be quiet. I see. Oh my gosh, what are we talking about? Okay, in your recent past, you have this Four of Pentacles. You have this clinging on to something that we apparently want you to release. So this has to do, this is Pentacles, so this has to do with something in the world, some real world situation, and it's in the right position to take it that way. It's the past. So this is something about clinging to your money, clinging to your job, clinging to a sense of security, being fascinated by a sense of security, though it's not necessarily clinging. I mean, some of the depictions of this card are clinging, but in this card, we're obsessed and we're fascinated. And this may be some of our first coins, some of our first experiences here. So we're very enamored with this coin that we have, this situation that we have. We're very enamored, slightly obsessed. Really not focused on anything else. This can be like an obsessive focus with work or money or something like that. But it's not, I'm not getting like it's a super dangerous, horrible obsession where you're ruining every other aspect of your life by focusing so much on it. But we are being asked to release something. So this is being asked, you know, maybe you already knew that you needed to have a lighter grip on something and not be holding it so tightly. You know, it's like an egg. You know, you want to cradle it enough to keep it safe, but you don't want to crush it by clinging too hard to it, right? So in your present moment, you have this Eight of Wands. This is so much communication. This is a lot of emails, a lot of texts, a lot of phone calls, so you're in the middle of something. No wonder you want this lullaby, this silence, and this more intuitive vibe, because this is a lot of communicating and things moving very quickly, things moving very fast. A lot of communication here. Your hopes and fears is, well, you are inside your Page of Swords, and you're exploring sort of this idea of there might be a truth that you've just discovered, an idea you've just discovered, or a way of communicating that you've just discovered or learned about, and you're kind of like thinking about using it. You're learning about it. You're learning about some sort of truth or communication, and you're thinking about kind of like, am I doing this right? I don't know. So you're learning about how to manage this toy sword here, and you're not looking directly at it, but you can see it out of the corner of your eye now. So there's some sort of truth that's going to be very useful to you at some point, but you don't quite know what to do with it right now, and you're only just seeing it out of the corner of your eye, which is possibly why you need to get in touch with your intuition so you can look at more square in the face. So this is what, and you could just be hoping for some level of truth to come in that would be helpful to you. But what I'm getting from this mostly is that you have some truth inside of you, and you're kind of just experimenting around with what's it going to be like to communicate that and to share that. At issue is we have the moon, but we're taking this in the reverse. So this is that you're not seeing something. And we see here too that you're not seeing something. And we have, oh my gosh, we have this rose-colored glasses, her eyes are closed, and he's got his hat pulled down over his eyes. So although there's this deep meditative space, there's something you're refusing to see. And maybe some part of you is just starting to see that thing. But this is the moon reversed, and this is not using your intuition, not seeing with that intuitive eye, being in the dark, and almost you can't see anything. And I want to say almost by choice that you're in the dark. But for some of you, I think you're just totally in the dark and things are being hidden from you, and they're being hidden from you on purpose, not to freak you out, but I mean, that someone else might be. But, you know, I hate the message like this because it doesn't give us a lot of clarity on who is hiding what. And you can't Obviously, you can't live your life imagining that every person you meet is hiding something from you, and every person in your life is hiding something from you. But this is about being in the dark, and being in the dark either because you're refusing to see or someone's not sharing something with you that they need to. Either case, the solution is getting in touch with your intuition, listening deeply to what other people are saying and taking them at face value. I want to say a really useful book could be De Becker's The Gift of Fear. And that's like listening about what people are actually saying and understanding and being able to understand from that who's actually a threat and who's not, and how you parse that out simply by more attentive listening to what other people are doing. So, but this is about not being able to see, and it's not a natural thing. It's either something you're refusing to see or something someone's hiding from you intentionally. In your environment around you, the energy around you is about the Lovers. And I see that this is a little strange connection in here too. So the Lovers is about a deep soul connection, either with a job or with a person or something like that. And the choice being fairly, are we going to go towards this inexplicable path of intuition, or are we still sticking with our spreadsheets, and which I love a good spreadsheet. And are we going to still stick with our spreadsheets and our you know, Lincoln Douglas debate plan here, or are we going to go off book and sort of go off the beaten path and do something that's hard to explain? That's one of the meanings of the Lovers. The others is just that, you know, people are in love. There's two people in love here in the environment. The environment has some, but it's got like some sort of divine thing to it, and then there is a choice. Like they're not actually kissing, but they're about to kiss. So there's just sort of that energy of it's a spiritual divine connection to something. Whether you're taking that or not, we don't know. And then your to-do list here is the Death card. So this is closing out a chapter. The Death card is about endings. This card doesn't depict it very well, but it has a little flower here. And that is that each ending necessitates a new beginning. It's the doorway between existence and not existence. There's a portal you need to go through, and it's going to be hard, and there's going to be a grief process here. But there is a portal that needs to be gone through. Luckily, with every doorway that we've ever experienced in our entire lives, every little portal like that, you go from one room into another room, or from inside to outside. That's the role of the portal, is you go someplace else. So, but in this card, we're focused more on the ending, and the beginning is just a promise. But there's a major transition that is coming up, and good thing you need to be in a good space for that. You need to be very connected to who you are, listening very deeply, listening to your intuition. Listening to this lullaby that your soul is playing for you. But there's a major transition coming up here. And I think maybe, you know, you need to let go of some sort of past situation that you've been looking at and thinking a lot about. And maybe you need to let go of thinking about the logic of it and go more with the flow of it. Because this is asking you to do something, to end a cycle, to make a change in your life, to go through a portal. So you're being asked to be a participant in that process and initiate that process somehow. So I want to say, though, that we're talking about the Santa Muerte deck has this as a pregnant woman, and when you give birth, you are the doorway between non-existence and existence. So there's something about you actually being the portal between the old way of doing things and some sort of new way of doing things. And then your possible outcome here is this Ace of Pentacles. So you were really obsessed with Pentacles back here, somebody was, and now we're talking about a new beginning, either in work, money, home, something physical. A physical new beginning is what you're looking at here. So yeah, you're getting ready to share something, and somehow, and you need to be this portal. You need to share this thing, and somehow that brings in a brand new beginning in your life and in the world. So that's very beautiful. I love this Ace of Pentacles. It comes in from the divine. It's very real, and the pentacle is, you know, the spirituality within the physical realm, like that. The physical realm holds this spiritual star within it, and the sacredness of, you know, a lot of the things that it's a non-duality symbol. It's not that we have spiritual over here and we have physical over here. It's that the physical contains something spiritual in it. And that's the kind of new beginning we're talking about here. There's divinity in this money, in this work, in this home. There's some sort of divine guidance here. Does that mean it's going to work out perfectly forever and ever for the rest of your life? No, but this is your new beginning. You know, we have this death card with the portal you need to either be stepping through and initiating, and then we have this new beginning coming right on the heels. But this is asking you to close something out, to end a chapter of your life, and then we have this sacred new beginning that's actually coming in the physical realm for you. All right, Sagittarius, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments. They are both encouraging to me, and they help the channel grow and raise the visibility of the channel so that other people can find these messages too. So thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful week.